Graduates, you now stand on the edge of a new world, contemplating the beginning of your own adulthood at this crossroads of one's own existence, which so many of us have crossed without even knowing it. For some of us, many years have passed before we eventually turned around and looked back. And those who did sometimes understood with nostalgia that this unique moment has slipped through the fingers like water in a river, and had vanished in the fog of their memories without them ever having a chance to look at it with their own eyes. Maybe the delegates of the very first General Assembly of the United Nations foresaw it when they met 70 years ago for the first time in London, on another island far across the Atlantic. Did they fully contemplate their unique role in sketching the perpetual peace imagined by German philosopher Immanuel Kant almost 2 centuries earlier? Did some not fully grasp that moment at that time until they looked back upon it long after it happened? Nothing is slower than the birth of a true man, famously said Belgian writer Marguerite Yourcenar in her Memoirs of Adrian. And it is often when things are already accomplished that one realizes they slipped by, and sometimes just barely. Because you are now sitting in the very seats where representatives of humankind met after emerging from cataclysmic abyss, in this great hall where they work daily toward the ideals of peace, understanding, cooperation, and universal human rights, because you yourselves are none other than the mirror image than those who one day stepped away from the usual path to transcend war and finally speak the common language of peace and hope. I invite you to fully appreciate this moment and measure its importance in your own lives. Because in a few moments, before the impassive and enigmatic interlacing of Fernand Léger painted on these walls, before the gold and marble surrounding this stage familiar to all of humanity, you will step from the known into the unknown, into the limitless possibilities of adulthood. Man is condemned to be free, said French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. So instead of playing the role of Sisyphus and locking yourselves out in the repetition of the familiar, I invite you to ponder the words of Dag Hammarskjöld, the second Secretary General of the United Nations, which still resonate in this gilded hall of dreams. We are not permitted to choose the frame of our destiny, but what we put into it is ours. He who wills adventure will experience it. It is when we all play safe that we create a world of utmost insecurity. He had once left the aristocratic comfort of his native Sweden in pursuit of the philosophical dream of Kant, and while his life tragically and prematurely ended somewhere south of the Congo, maybe what he meant was that choosing the easy path is always an illusion. In the words of Italian scholar Umberto Eco, people are tired of simple things. They want to be challenged. For indeed it is always the path of the unknown rather than the known that one should consider first. That of danger and chiaroscuro, that of discovery and adventure, that of American novelist Jack Kerouac, who tells you today, as he told us then, accept loss forever. For when presented with the choice between the known and the unknown, all the fibers of our being whisper softly into our ears like the sirens calling Odysseus, "Stay, stay our ship." Why embark on these adventures when all is well and quiet here on the comfortable and reassuring shores which one can follow until the kingdom of Hades? So when these choices present themselves to you, big and small, insignificant and tortuous, I hope you can remember this moment, because life is only worth living as an accumulation of unique and extraordinary experiences, none of which are ever risk-free. So why not try them all? Why not, to paraphrase Japanese novelist Yukio Mishima, make a poem of your life? It only takes one step forward across this stage. Just like for Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's Little Prince, it sometimes means leaving one's rose behind and taking advantage of the migration of a flock of wild birds to embark on a mysterious voyage with neither a clear purpose nor the perspective of a true return. And now that all is said and done, I invite you to always take the least traveled path and enter the labyrinth of dreams so that someday, distant from this one, you may look back and, like Argentinian author Jorge Luis Borges, claim, "I have known uncertainty." Thank you.